bullshit. Am I allowed to swear on the show? I can't remember. Anyway, there's so many bullshit and unhealthy fad diets out there that are actually damaging people's health that they're just confused. Welcome to the Ask Empowered by Eating show. Welcome to the Ask Empowered by Eating show. Today we've got a pretty cool question. I'm going to bring it up on the screen now.
Hi Chris, Fia here. I've been following EB for a while now, and I was wondering whether there was any way that EB can help personal trainers or anyone else within the gym industry spread the correct knowledge to a wider audience while saving time, possibly. Thank you very much. Bye.
Awesome question, thanks Fia. So this is a question really addressing the PT, the gym manager, or any gym staff or anywhere around, any people around that area, I guess. But if you are listening to this and you're not a PT or you're not a gym member, you're not a gym staff, but you're a gym member, maybe you can find something good in here because you might have a PT and you might be able to tell your PT about this. So keep listening. So as you'll notice from the free part of level 1 on the website, it's something quite special, and it hasn't been created like this before in the health and fitness industry. And how can it help PTs and gym managers? Firstly, we already have multiple PTs and multiple gyms using the system already, and it's dramatically changing people's lives for the better. We have recent meetings with gym managers, gym owners, talking about how we can interject this into different gyms around the country. So hopefully your gym can be the next gym where we can help change people's lives. Let me explain a little bit further. So what we have here on the website is a really unusual platform, which in essence gives the ability for the gym or the PT to outsource their nutritional needs for their client. And the most fundamental part of this, with the industry being so busy at the moment, is there's no threat of losing the client. Either losing the client as a PT, where they're getting one-on-one coaching, or a member of the gym. In fact, it's going to enhance this situation for the PT or the gym. Because of course, that's one of the main things going through the PT's or the gym's mind is, oh, these health and fitness companies, I don't want to lose my client. We get that, and this is here to really help you. I mean, I get it. There's like 10 billion products available for everyone in regards to health and fitness, with whether it be diet or training plans or whatever. And of course, the current number in the statistics is about 60 billion pounds in the health and fitness industry. So of course, it's your livelihood, I get it. So we're here to help. So let's look at it from a PT standpoint first of all. The personal trainer, maybe the PT's up at 5 or 6 a.m, maybe they're home at maybe 9 or 10 p.m. and they're really working hard because obviously it's their passion, right? And then they have that weird gap in the middle of the day where they kind of don't do anything because everyone's at work. But of course that reduces the hourly rate that they're charging per hour. So it makes the whole day actually not that much profitable because they've got to fit clients in at weird times. I get that, it's quite hard. So what the Empowered by Eating platform and the system within the website does is gives the ability for the PT to be able to concentrate on the fun stuff like programming and motivation and of course having fun with your client. That's what it's all about, right? And then you can get into grips with the technique and spend more time there because obviously we want to make sure the client's safe. And then of course a lot of the PTs have already gone through 5 levels of the Empowered by Eating system. When their client starts level 1, it gives the ability for the PT to then give accountability for their client, which in essence is why they're paying the PT in the first place. So overall, sounds like a win-win situation, right? It honestly is a win-win situation. I mean, the level 1 is free on the website, so they can learn that. You can go ahead and test that straight away. Thea and all of the members at the gym now, or any PT that's watching, or any gym manager that's watching, you can go ahead and test it, free to sign up, get through level 1, and you'll see the fundamentals within Empowered by Eating are quite new, quite modern, and really easy to understand and implement, which is the most important thing. Then, if the client, or obviously the PT, wants to take their nutritional knowledge quite high, level 2, 3, 4, and 5 is £10 per month. And then go to the website and check out what you get with that, because you get a lot of help within the members area and things like that. The PT, the cycle of the new clients, it could be quite stressful, right? Especially when it comes to the nutritional side of things. I mean, the client comes to the gym and normally either a member of staff or the PT gives a nice taster to the client, shows them around the gym, shows them some exercises, especially if they're new to the gym. Then they like build great rapport with the client and make friends with them and have fun, because that's what life's about, right? And you get on great, and then the client comes back to the gym for a PT session, and in essence is paying the PT. So you take them through that first session, the best programming you can do, you show them around the gym, and you really enjoy hanging out with them, and they enjoy hanging out with you. So the next time they come to the gym, you take them through a bit of a harder session maybe, and then you spend a little bit at the end going through some sort of nutritional strategy with them that, you know, you've probably read somewhere or found, or you found that works for you. Because of course, we know as fitness professionals that nutrition is probably the most important part of this overall training plan that the client is doing, right? So then in that short time at the end of the session, or you try and squeeze it in during a session or something like that, you give them the plan that you've used and it's worked with some people, and you know it hasn't with others, but you give it to them anyway because you've only got a short time. And I mean, you know, they don't really want to listen to nutrition advice anyway because they just think, oh, whatever, I'm going to train. So then they go home and everyone's happy. You move on to your next client and you do it again. Okay, so then that client comes back the next week or later on that week, and you ask them, so how did your diet get on this week, or how did your nutrition go? And you get that, well, you know what I mean, that sigh just as you ask them about that bit. And then the client comes up with like every excuse under the sun, because we know it's hard to stick to any sort of nutritional plan out there, because for starters, they're all confusing and different, and no one really knows what the actual truth is. It's not really their fault they haven't been able to stick to it, because there's so many bullshit. Am I allowed to swear on the show? I can't remember. Anyway, there's so many bullshit and unhealthy fad diets out there that are actually damaging people's health that they're just confused. They've probably looked on Instagram and seen the latest thing that's working for their mates, and they've probably followed that, or they've been on Google and Googled it, or they've asked a mate in the gym and it just didn't work. So even as a fitness professional, sometimes we could have, I know I did in the past, get caught up in this quick fix, results mentality. But the problem is they don't last. I mean, we know from the science that if one of these clients within the gym, or the PT's clients, takes up one of these plans on Instagram or whatever they found from their friend, they know they're not, we know deep down they're not going to stick to it long term. But of course we get quick results, and it seems great in the short run because you've got that client who's lost lots of weight. It feels good, right? Because that's what they wanted. But we have to think long term, especially as a gym manager, especially as a PT. We have to think long term. Now I know that obviously the questions come from Thea Holden in over in the Will. She does think this way, which is awesome for the members there, and the results from that gym are absolutely phenomenal. But for some people it sounds good for the PT or the gym, right, that some of the clients get quick results, and of course they spread a bit of the word about them quick results first, especially on social media. Like as soon as they lose that 3 or 4 kilogram in a week, wow, I lost loads of weight. But we have to think long term. One of the fundamental parts of Empowered by Eating is this long-term lifetime way of eating, this lifetime strategy. And one of the things that comes from Dean, you'll see Dean Connor on the website, he writes about this a lot. As a PT, he's had clients over 9 years. 9 years of the same clients paying him week in, week out. That's long-term, right? That's what we need as a gym. That's what we need as a PT. We can all agree. Where's my elastic band? Something we talk about, I don't use an elastic band in level 1, but we do this in level 3. Something we talk about is, this is feel-good factors and hormonal balance and metabolism and all things like that. Okay, you're going to think I'm weird. I'll show you why in a second. This is food intake versus like the net energy balance of what's left after doing exercise and eating food. So what happens is they follow one of them plans. Boom. Food intake, remember this was food intake? Food intake drops really low. And then as time goes on, we know from the science that the metabolism and feel-good factors and hormonal balance will follow the low level of food. I talk about this in level 3, but not on the level 1, as I said. So what happens is, as time goes on, the metabolism will follow and the feel-good factors will follow this low level of food they're on, depending on how long they can stick to it, because we know it's hard to stick to it in the long term, right? So what happens when they hit rock bottom? Do we lower the food again? Probably. Do we tell them to lower the food again? Probably. They probably lower the food again, but then of course, they're gonna crash. Get off. They're going to crash at some point. What I mean by crash is they're going to run out of energy, they're going to run out of motivation. When they're at the bottom of the calories, they're not going to feel good. We call this the low calorie area or too low area. We don't want to be there. Of course they're going to have low motivation. Of course they're going to be probably a little bit more moody because the hormones are all over the place. We want the hormonal balance to be just right. Then, because they usually restrict the calories so well by following one of these diets, sickness is really rife. And of course they're risking various diseases and actually malnutrition. And then lastly, of course, hormonal and metabolic adaptation. And we don't want all that to happen. We need the client to be in that just right area. We talk about this in, I think it's video 9 in the free part of the members area, where we want them to be full of life. We want them to be happy. We want longevity within the way of eating. And of course, we want optimal health from the client, because that's the whole point of the coming to the gym, right? So let's presume they don't follow what we do on Empowered by Eating and they carry on doing one of the billion unhealthy fad diets in the industry. I mean, maybe you're a PT that's accidentally giving that to your client, not over in the Wirral maybe. I mean, I know Thea isn't personally doing this, but one of the other PTs in the world might actually be doing this and might be giving an unhealthy fad diet that's damaging the health of their client. And they don't know because they read it somewhere where they think it's reputable. So what happens if this happens? Maybe the PTs give it by mistake, because obviously the passion of the PT is to help the client, right? We're all passionate about changing people's lives. I get it. But unfortunately, the world is so confusing, even for the PT. So this is why we've worked so hard for the past 16 years to learn the right stuff. And everything on the internet that you'll see on the website is evidence-based, backed by science, backed by our team. Just go and check it out, by the way. So let's presume they have followed a fad diet. What happens next? They run out of energy, they run out of motivation, and they probably give up paying for the PT, for one. They probably give up paying for the gym and probably give up and leave the gym. Because don't forget, this is probably the 39th time they've tried to diet and they've lost 20 pounds and gain 20 pounds if that's their goal. But of course, sometimes some PTs are confused because why can't they stick to the plan that they gave them in that short 3 minutes that they tried to squeeze it in at the end of the session? Because you can. I mean, of course, that's the problem. You can. I mean, I know I'm talking in generalization here. I'm not talking directly to Thea, but I'm talking to PTs in general worldwide. The problem is you can follow your method. If you're not following some of the stuff we do on Empowered by Eating, it might be quite strict, it might be quite restrictive of food, and of course you can follow it. You're a personal trainer, you're a gym manager, you're super driven, you're super passionate about fitness. You can agree, right? You have to look the part to be in the gym. You have to have the gains, otherwise you don't look reputable. So you have that goal. You love the gym, otherwise you wouldn't have been a personal trainer in the first place. And of course you're probably active all day, so your level of food that you need is probably higher, so it's easier to keep lean. I'm personally a natural bodybuilder and I have big goals, and I want to make it to the world pro natural stage. Whether it takes 5 years or 10 years, I'm going to keep going until I get there. So of course it's easy for me to stick to a good nutritional plan. I follow everything that we teach in level 5 on Empowered by Eating pretty much 99% of the time. It's easy for me. I mean, I bet you as a PT, remember I'm talking worldwide here, not talking to Thea directly. I mean, you as a PT, I bet you have some sort of morning routine where you have your meal in place and you set up your nutrition plan properly from wherever source you've learnt it from. Imagine trying to tell the average gym goer just stick to your plan when you're so passionate and they're just trying to get in a bit of shape for the holiday or the wedding or whatever it may be. So some of you might have already gone through level 1 because it's free anyway and learned that the most important thing for fat loss for your client and yourself is a calorie deficit. Now, a calorie deficit, that's not the problem. The problem is sticking to the calorie deficit, and that's where we come in. That's where Empowered by Eating comes in, is helping you or your client stick to a way of eating. So the Empowered by Eating platform, it's there for PTs, it's there for gyms to use. So if you're watching this and you have any gym friends or PT friends, please share the video. It's a platform with a system inside which took about 4,000 hours to create. Yeah, 4,000 hours over the past 2 years with some of the best people within the industry involved in it. So it's following the latest science. The client saves money because they're not accidentally going to be paying, I don't know, £100 odd for some silly unhealthy fad diet. Because remember, there's hundreds of unhealthy fad diets that are available. On a side note, there might be something else that you might want to take upon yourself as a PT, is to educate yourself higher than the qualification gives. Now, the qualification is quite basic that you get when you become a PT, we can agree. If you want to take your nutritional knowledge to a higher level, obviously you can follow the 5 levels of the Empowered by Eating system, but this is more designed for and spoken to the language of the gym goer or the general gym goer. If you want to take it further, there's another company. In fact, let me try and find a video. Right, I found one. So what you're going to do is click in the link in the description. On YouTube it will be there and within the blog. What we're going to do is, it's called Shredded by Science. Yeah, shredded as in like really muscly, so shreddedbyscience.com. Click on the academy bit there. Now, this is Luke Johnson, who is really fundamentally changing the world of personal training. And I'm going to link up the video there, which gives a really overview of what it is. Now, there is a monthly charge for this, and you really will take your nutritional knowledge to such a high level, it's unbelievable. So then overall, there's a lot of passionate people working together to try and combat this obesity crisis and this issue we've got in health and fitness at the moment. We're currently at 37% obese, and we're moving quickly towards 60% obese in the world before 2050. It's ridiculous, right? So we need to come together to change this, otherwise the world's going to be ruined. So thank you very much for listening. What you can do next, head over to the website, don't need to say that anymore, empoweredbyeating.com, follow level 1. I'm sure you'll enjoy the information there, even if it's just for yourself as a gym manager or a gym owner. Next, feel free to allow your clients to sign up to that, and ideally get yourself to level 5 knowledge, which will then help you be accountable for your client. So that's talking generalized to all PTs and all gym managers in the world. And of course, thank you very much, Thea, for sending the question of the show. Put in the comments below, what is your funniest story from one of your clients, if you're a PT or a gym manager, in regards to nutrition?